Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bunk and Pick podcast. Pick here with Bunk, and we do have another special guest today. This is Luke Schaefer, the owner of Suburban Bourbon Burn over here. We got some bourbons in front of us. Luke, why don't you say hello to the folks?
Hello.
Oh, God damn it. God damn it. He was waiting up.
I like it.
I was waiting to see what this was because he was staring me so intensely in the eye just now. That was terrible.
Good. I like it.
Right?
I like it.
When you said, "Hey, do you want to do the podcast?" I was like, "Yep." And then I hung up the phone. I go, "I'm going to do a British."
You have to.
It's needed.
It's not a podcast without that.
Sorry, I stole your thunder there.
No, I got more. Don't worry about
He's
that.
got watch
Don't worry
this.
about
All
me.
right, Bunk, say hello to the
Hey, hello, governor.
people. Oh, God.
I like the governor.
You go right back to it. That's your pocket.
I
Your
do.
safe space.
Sadly, I do it when I'm not on the podcast, just so you know.
I know, because you pick up the phone and say, hello, Gubby, to me
Gubby.
every time. Hello, Gubby.
That's all good stuff. Good stuff.
Remember, I'm the colonel. So.
Okay. Oh, I did forget about that. He's a Kentucky colonel.
All right, this is already off the rails.
Yowzer.
This is already off the rails here.
Did it ever even get on the rails?
No, it never
That's really the
does.
question.
It never does.
We're never on.
We always have one squeaky wheel.
I have a lot of time on my hands.
All right. Well, who knows what we'll bring up as we go, but definitely want to hit baseball first just to get it out of the way because my team sucks. Your team's good.
Okay,
Bunk,
okay.
that's fine. Luke, your team, like, what's going
what's
on?
going
Middle
on
of
with
the
the
road.
Rangers?
Texas Rangers.
Rangers, yeah, hot start. Defending World Series champs. No big deal.
Yeah, that's last year.
Hey,
That's last year.
defending until someone else wins. We are the champs.
Looks like somebody else gonna win.
Hell, hang tight. I actually, I'm a Rangers fan, born in the Dallas area, so not quite as detailed as in my fandomship as you guys are, but I am aware the Rangers, started well and then kind of teetering a little bit, but they've got like 10 plus pitchers on the IL. And just the bats just aren't going, just not scoring.
They
like
have the two
should.
big guys, two big pitchers, right? Are on IL.
Scherzer
and DeGrom.
And DeGrom.
Yeah, DeGrom.
If they come back, those are difference makers.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, what sucks is the slide, but what's encouraged? Ooh, no know what's going on there. I'm good.
Oh,
What sucks is the slide, but they're only 4 games out, and they're like visibly struggling.
Yeah.
When that team clicks, that's gonna be scary.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can hang around 500 until the All-Star break and then get everybody healthy, then you turn it up.
Yeah.
And that's when they could be dangerous.
All right. Hey, so we agree. I do like the Rangers. I'm a Ranger. I'm not a Houston Astro fan, but I do like
Same.
the Rangers. Okay, good.
No,
good.
Astros can suck it.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
All right. Did they keep cheating, or did they learn their lesson?
Apparently, they did not keep cheating because they're not winning anymore.
They were after that, though.
That's true. Yeah, they're actually not doing very well at all.
No.
They look bad.
Yeah, surprising. Would you like to talk about the Yankees by any chance? Anybody Yankee fans?
No.
What's a Yankee?
Yeah.
The New York Highlanders.
Highlanders.
That's what they started out as.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take this bus and hit the brakes on us
boy.
there.
Hey, they have 42 wins, which is the most in the MLB, and they are crushing. And you got to say, Aaron Judge is back. Holy crap, man.
I just want to rewind to those first few episodes we ever did on this. Aaron Judge is done. He's
No, I never said that. You
Can't hit
did.
the friggin' ball.
Nah, that was
Juan
you.
Soto's team.
Well, Juan Soto is crushing, too. He hit 2 yesterday.
Yeah, and he's high-fiving umpires.
Okay. Yeah, I know you don't like him. But you know who else has done well? Doogie. Verdugo.
Dookie?
No, Verdugo.
Dookie, like the Green Day,
He's such
the
an
Green Day
ass.
album.
You're an ass. You're a dookie ass, is what you are. But he's done well, and we didn't like him at first
Why do I get pulled into all of this?
because he used to be a Red Sox. He's over.
Okay, Luke, what's your feel on Dookie and Juan Soto?
I've got no opinion on Juan Soto and Dookie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. Hey, they're going to have an issue, though, because the Martian, where are they going to put him when he comes back?
Oh, he's hitting the shit out of the ball. He had like 4 home runs
I know,
in
but
3 games.
you can't change the dynamics of
Yes,
the team
you
right
can.
now. No,
For that guy, you can.
The only one that's not hitting is Rizzo on the Yankees.
Then can the Martian play first base?
I don't know. Doogie might.
Somebody
Maybe
else
the Duker
can.
can. Maybe Dukes can.
I like workshopping that nickname.
Yes. Well, his name is Verdugo.
Yeah.
And he goes by Doogie.
Okay.
And then Pick called him Dookie.
Because that's what you just said. So that's what you just said.
All right.
So I'm just going off of what Bunk said.
Well, listen, I'm with Luke on this because I do like the Rangers. And I would actually, have you been to any games up there?
Yeah, Globe Life Park is insane.
Yeah.
It is so cool. I grew up, going to the old Texas Stadium. Then there was the ballpark in Arlington, which is funny. The ballpark is still there. It's right across the street from Globe Life, and it is perfectly fine. It is a perfectly wonderful. At the time it was built, it was like a marvel. There's nothing wrong with that stadium.
Wow.
But then they went and built Globe Life, and now you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. Because baseball in Texas and the air conditioning is the way to go.
Yeah, that was always the problem. The ballpark in Arlington was beautiful. It was so well made and like accessible. There was no bad sightline.
When it had a really cool, like classic look to it as well.
But when it was 104 out, the classic look doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you like to think that
in
you
your
have
eyeballs.
you like to think that like that would give the Rangers the advantage because they play in that all the time, they practice in that all the time. But the problem was the fans would come out less and less. The hotter it got.
Yeah.
It's just too
And
high.
so that bottom dollar is.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the so it was a long time ago I was up there. There's like an amusement park next to it, right?
Six
Or
Flags over
Flags?
Texas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the ballpark and Six Flags are right there next to each other.
Okay.
The football stadium's right there close to. Jerry World's right there too.
Jerry World's right around there as well.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. So that's it. Not quite Dallas. That's
Arlington.
Arlington. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Cowboys Stadium used to be the other Cowboys Stadium was in Irving.
Irving. There you go. Okay. I was at that one.
It's all the Metroplex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you guys been to Jerry World?
I haven't
No.
yet.
That's insane too.
It's just the ticket prices are
They're bananas.
unreasonable.
Absolutely unreasonable. I
Really?
think were we talking about that last week?
I think so.
Where you can it's kind of the backwards of that because to get all of the different apps and stations that you need to watch all the NFL football games, you can go to every single Carolina Panthers football game and buy a ticket cheaper than it costs to buy all the apps and stations to watch the NFL
You're kidding.
games. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Wow.
but then you got to sit and watch the Panthers.
Yeah, you're in Charlotte.
That's true. That's
September
true.
in Charlotte sounds
Yeah.
awful.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, the prices are insane. Somebody's got to do something about this.
It's across all sports right now. Like going to a college football game is you have to take a friggin' loan out now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Parking's $50. The tickets, God, now for Texas, the ticket's $3. If you want to sit up top deck, $300 a ticket.
My brother-in-law just bought Georgia tickets. I'm
Oh, my
gonna put
God,
him on
I bet.
blast. He bought tickets to the Georgia Texas game.
Unbelievable.
Upper deck, $500.
Oh my
a
God.
piece.
That doesn't
kidding me.
surprise me.
It's bananas.
That is
doesn't
unbelievable.
surprise me. The best part about that game, though, is all the Georgia fans pissed off because it's F1 weekend, too. There's no hotels.
No hotels in Austin, Texas to be had.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Bunk, you want to take a mini vacation and make a shit ton of money. You rent out this house,
Airbnb this house, dude.
this house, you make $10,000.
Not the Georgia fans, I ain't.
Yeah. Love it.
F1 fans,
Love
they're
the
more
commitment.
refined.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they are actually.
They're way more
They're
refined.
very refined because they're not.
Yeah, do you have a helipad near?
I know.
They're in this neighborhood somewhere.
Yeah, there's gotta be.
Close.
I saw some of those houses driving in.
It's a conveyor belt over the pool.
Oh my God, that's funny. I got you. All right, cool. I have, the only stadium we went to a game in Seattle. I've seen
That was awesome. Safeco.
and their stadium's really, it's in a great area too. Remember, it was parking was easy. Tickets weren't expensive at all. We sat right on the third base.
It was like $35 a ticket.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And we were
See,
like
that seems
5 rows
reasonable.
up, 5 rows in.
yeah.
Now, the best part about it, so we went and Seattle was playing Boston. And it's the famous game where Ichiro makes the most famous catch of his career. He jumps up, catches the ball, runs into the wall, turns around, guns a guy out at second. And it was amazing. We were at that game, which was really cool. But before the game, Manny Ramirez was taking BP. It happened again. Excuse me.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Viewer,
We haven't even
listener.
started drinking bourbon.
I
Yeah,
know.
I know.
Maybe that's what I need.
Maybe that is.
So this lady's there, and she was an obnoxious Boston fan. And Manny turned on one in batting practice, hit her right above the eye. Blood everywhere. It was crazy. And we all turned around like, oh, shit. She was spurting. I have never seen that at a baseball. Like emergency run down, like they stopped the batting practice.
Yowzers.
Well, we were right in a spot, though, where you're
Yeah.
going to get him. I mean, we were right on the third base line.
This was pre-netting as well. There was no netting.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. What was it? 06 or 07?
It was one of
It was
those,
it was pre-netting where you better keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
On a line drive to the third baseline.
But I'd like to hit some games. I mean, I'm driven when we've traveled. I've hit. I've driven past is the field in Cincinnati, and that's kind of looks like a cool field.
Yeah, Great American.
Yeah, it looks
always
like
gets rated as one of like the nicest ones.
Yeah, and it's
just nobody
not-
goes.
But then, yeah, because you got to be in Cincinnati.
That's true.
I've been to Ohio, friend.
Got to be a red stocking.
Yeah.
Red stockings, huh? Oh boy.
Hey, so look, you've been to Chicago a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Have you been to any of those stadiums?
Oh, yeah, I went to Wrigley.
Did you?
Yeah. Wrigley it's all it's cracked up to be.
Oh, neat.
Absolutely. It's just right there. Like the whole area is called Wrigleyville. And it's just right in the middle of the city. You just walk in and you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
I'd love to go to a game now.
I was
That
there
would
on a
be
work
fun.
trip, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna look, and I snagged a seat behind home plate for like $24
Wow.
or something because it was on like a Tuesday night. But yeah, it's fantastic. Had a Chicago dog and a beer and everything. It was,
Oh, I remember the pictures.
yeah, it was great. I also I went to Soldier Field. I know it's not baseball.
Yeah.
That's a weird situation they got going on there because they renovated that a few years ago, and it looks like it looks like a UFO landed on top of the Coliseum. It's really really ugly.
Oh, it's just like straight sides and then the dome.
Yeah, it's like a
very
100-year-old
weird.
stadium, and then they put that big kind of round
Oh, wow.
situation around it. It's bizarre.
It's just trying to mask their imperfections.
Yeah, it's they did not do a good job though. It's gross.
I mean, it's like a mecca for pro football.
Used to be.
Used to be, I guess. Yeah.
Used to be.
All right, don't look at me
Yeah.
like that, Bunk. Jeez.
I don't like their new quarterbacks. I don't talk about them now. Out. They out. They gone.
Well, let's segue into the football then. That's fine.
Are we done talking about
Yeah,
the Yankees?
because I don't want to hear
I know.
about the Yankees anymore, and I don't want to hear you tell me how bad the Rays are. The Rays, not the Devil Rays. The
They're
Rays.
not.
Rays.
They're not, okay. Just before
Shut
we
it,
leave,
Luke.
they are Devil Rays.
Shut it,
and they're
Luke.
not in last place.
They're not. And Isak Paredes is hitting the shit out of the ball, but he's the only person on that team
All right.
hitting the shit out of the ball.
All right. Well, they're not in last place.
You know what the problem is that their relievers are throwing the ball directly down the middle of the plate every single pitch.
Hey, before we get off baseball,
Nope.
we got to talk about your boy, the Snell Hook.
Why is it always my boy? Everything is my boy.
Because he used to be on the Devil Rays. He was your Devil Ray guy.
He was a Ray.
Like Snell Hook.
Right.
He didn't last 5 innings again. He is not
I don't
pitched,
know what's going on
He's
with
not
him.
pitched more than 5 innings.
I know what happened. I know what happened.
Ever.
He got that typical cop goatee going, and that just it sapped all his talent.
I'm just saying he supposedly got hurt yesterday, but in like the 4th
He has
inning,
looked
and
bad
they
this
have
year.
said he has not pitched more than 5 innings, and he's making like some ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
All right, I just had to do that because that's your boy,
He.
the Snell Hook.
All right. Hey, did you see your boy Pedroia got in the Hall of Fame?
I did actually.
How about
You're an ass,
so
man.
Pedroia?
I
Petey?
did see
Your
it.
favorite player?
I did, and
Yeah.
I immediately got angry when I looked at his face.
Number one player.
Okay, Moving on.
Numero uno. All right.
Moving on.
You ready to go to football then?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
We can always play this game
Yep.
all day here. If you'd
Let's
like.
go.
All right, you sick fucker. Let's go. Let's go to football then.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I know you are a Giants fan, and one of their big rivals, I do believe, is Luke's favorite team.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you guys about the shocking lack of coverage of America's team on this podcast.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. I can't like them.
I don't know if I would call it America's team.
America's team. Always has been, always will be, regardless.
Why is there
situation.
a hole in the top of the stadium, Luke?
It's so God can watch the Cowboys
Oh,
play.
my gosh. Holy crap.
That's delusional Dallas fans.
Yeah,
is
the
what
old-
that is.
The old Cowboy Stadium. There's a hole in the ceiling, so God can watch the Cowboys
Oh,
play.
boy.
Now he just watches
man.
them on the Jerrytron. Because you can see that from space.
Oh, man.
He's
Brutal.
NFL Network. He is definitely down for a subscription.
Yeah.
All right.
So what do you? So as a Dallas fan,
Yeah.
they got some guys they got to sign. What do you think about Dak? You think he's a long-term guy?
Hell no.
I don't think so.
I'll tell you what. I heard over the weekend that Trey Lance is picking up the offense faster
Ooh, that's
than
intriguing.
they think, and they think that he might be a long-term option.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I haven't seen. I mean, obviously he was with the 49ers for a while and didn't get a fair shake. I don't think.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I've seen enough of him to be able to say he's the guy.
Right.
But I mean, like I love Dak. I love his energy, but I mean, he just hasn't proven that he can
Playoff Dak.
take the team on his back and win the game.
Playoff Dak's bad.
He's just. I mean, and I used to actually like Tony Romo, but he couldn't either. Isn't that weird?
Same thing.
Same
Yeah.
thing. They
get the yips in the
Shit
playoffs.
ton of stats throughout the year.
well, they're good. And they're
Stats
good
are amazing.
players.
Top 5 quarterback every year.
Yeah,
And they are out of
Playoffs.
the playoffs every time.
Doesn't matter.
And they put a team around these guys.
Oh yeah. They'll
I don't know about
spare
next
no
year.
expense.
The
You know.
rushing game next year is going to be rough. I think Zeke is going to be the featured back again.
Yeah, I'm not excited about that.
A
Man.
30-year-old Zeke is
Dude,
not.
I wanted Jonathan Brooks so bad in Dallas.
I'll tell you what, Carolina coming up to get him.
That would have been
That was
so
a smart
cool.
move by Carolina.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. I thought the draft was pretty lackluster.
They did. Yeah, I
the
don't,
Cowboys.
They
I don't
didn't
even know who they got.
Yeah, what was the biggest? What was their first round pick? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I think it was either an O line or D line guy. Yeah. It was not earth moving at all.
So that's tough. It's tough because the team has a ton of talent.
Yeah.
They have at the skill position besides running back. Now they have top of the league guys.
Oh yeah.
Running back is now suspect.
Yep.
Pollard gone. Zeke back. I don't even remember who they're going to run with Zeke, but it's going to be a committee.
I mean, they got Deuce Vaughn back there, but
No.
I've seen he's doing slot too.
Yeah. I mean, that dude can't, he's too small to be an every damn back. He's a gadget play guy.
Darren Sproles said, "What?"
That's fine. Different NFL speed
Yeah.
said, what?
No, absolutely.
When Micah Parsons is flying around at 4'2" and he's almost 250 pounds.
Good Lord, he's
Can
a
you imagine
freak.
that
He's good.
missile hitting
Oh God, that
Darren Sproles these days?
The force of that collision
God.
has got to just be just insane.
Yeah, he's really good.
And
Mike Parsons
they're
really good.
all like that now. They're all fast and huge. Look at Aiden Hutchinson. That dude off the edge is so
And he's not
goddamn
even that
fast.
big.
He's not that big. Bosa, same thing. He's
Yeah.
small.
Yeah, they're good.
But God, they hit hard.
Hit
I would not
hard.
want to be on the receiving end.
No, and well now even the interior D line guys
Yeah,
are just so freaking fast. Like, how does a 350-pound man move like that?
I
Yep.
know. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's
I
insane.
like it. Hey, so unfortunately, my Giants suck. So.
yeah, they do suck.
I'd like to give you crap about
long neck Daniel Jones ain't doing
God.
it, buddy.
Oh, he does have the friggin' longest neck in the world. Didn't he? It's a friggin' giraffe. Fuck. He just does.
Long ass neck.
He does. You know what? I think they're already planning for him to be gone.
Hit the
man.
road.
Yeah.
Well, they paid him, so
Well,
they're going to have to
they're gonna
buy
give
him
him this
out.
year. They'll give him this year, but I don't think he's not going to do anything. I just don't see it.
So when he gets hurt 3 games in, is it cutlets again?
Jim, He's still there.
I know he is.
He's not very good, man.
He had one game, and everybody was like, "He's there." He's all over ESPN eating cutlet sandwiches, and then the next game he threw 5 picks.
He was mostly famous because of his agent. His agent's more flamboyant. Yeah, they suck, man. I hate to say that, but
I'm happy with it. And then they dumped Saquon, right?
Yeah, they got rid of Saquon.
Which he was demanding a huge contract.
I'm pretty sure he wanted out of there.
Yeah. Well, of course.
He priced himself out of that job.
Yeah.
The market, the running backs are trying to reestablish the running back. The problem is that the studies show that those guys don't last very long in the league. So why are you going to invest it's 5 years on a guy that's going to be bad in 2?
Yeah, it's no longer this single back is our guy.
Yeah,
right? There's no more Emmitt Smith. There's no more Barry Sanders. Those are not the guys carrying the team anymore. Because of the size and speed of the defense, those collisions take a toll. I mean, now you've got guys who will do like 3 to 5 years, and they'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to retire. I'm perfectly fine, but I'm done. I got all my money. I'm out of here. I'm not going to beat myself, beat my brain into jello. I'm going to get out of here. So you've always got that hanging over the head of a contract. Is this guy going to bail when he starts to feel kind of
Yeah. Well, I guess the closest thing to like featured 3 down back we have now is Derrick Henry, and he still splits
when he's
so
40.
many carrots.
He's
older,
he's been around forever.
But look at his body size. That's the only body size that could take that amount of punishment.
Yeah.
And still be able to get up and go again. Like even Bijan. I love Bijan, dude, but he needs to be in a committee.
Yeah.
To be good.
Well, he's not going to. I mean, Saquon he's constantly hurt.
Right.
I mean, he's a good runner, but he didn't play that much.
They tried to feature him and Jonathan Taylor came out. They tried to feature back both of them, and they both just. I don't think a running back can stand up to the speed and physicality of the game now anymore.
Right. Well, now you also have to be able to catch passes a lot more.
I think that's why they're smaller. Look at Jonathan Brooks. He's a slight guy. He's not big.
Yeah.
But he knows how to avoid big hits besides that knee, but that was more on a cut than a hit. And he's going to be in a backfield where they have a bruiser where there's like, I honestly see a fullback type running back coming back for power packages soon. Yeah. And then your traditional running back is going to be a smaller guy that's going to catch more passes. Yeah. So I'd rather match my smaller running back up on your corner or your safety than Micah Parsons.
But, I will say I do miss, and I've really never been a Cowboy fan. I mean, I kind of used to, but Tony Dorsett, when he was there, holy crap, man. Those games were fun. Him and Earl Campbell, when those guys played, and it was kind of the era of the running back. It was kind of fun, man, because those guys could break it and go down the sideline. That you just don't see that anymore. You never. I mean, it's very rare you see a running back break anything anymore. For too long of a game. But those guys were like, Earl Campbell was. I mean, have you ever seen him play? I mean, he was
just trucking dudes.
He was unbelievable to watch.
That's the collision on the other side. Like that's when that's when the force used to come from the guy with the ball.
Yeah.
And just knock dudes down.
That's why I used to love watching Ricky Williams. He used to go. His stiff arm was devastating. He would pick people up and throw them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the name, all the names were honestly they were the quarterbacks and the running backs. Now it's the receivers and the quarterbacks. But
I mean receivers getting paid. I mean, look at Jefferson just signed today. $170 million contract, 4 years.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's
110 guaranteed.
So
that's like the GDP of a South American country. Good Lord.
Correct.
So who signed now is CeeDee Lamb because I think he's got a contract to go against because he's outstanding.
Yeah, he's trying to. So they're going to say, okay, Jefferson is the best, and you guys say I'm top 3 then?
Yeah, you got to get close.
You got to get close.
But they got to pay CeeDee Lamb, they got to pay Micah, and they got to pay Dak. So that's a lot of money, man.
They don't have to pay Dak because they're not going to pay him because they paid Zach Martin last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a huge contract they gave Zach Martin. The cap's got to be close.
Yeah, I mean Micah's he's gonna be the highest paid defensive guy. So, I mean,
has to be.
But they're talking about how immature he is and how he's not really a leader and like the news coming out of it. The camp is Like sounds more like they're just going to let his contract run or trade him.
Well,
I would be shocked.
I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
I think they're going to sign him. I think they're going to pay him.
I think they pay him.
He's too good, man. He's
You
a
gotta
young
pay-
guy, too.
But you got to pay CD as well. You're almost having to choose.
Honestly,
I don't know what the
I
cap.
think you could get a receiver easier than you could get him.
Maybe that's why they went cheap on Zeke.
Yeah,
Instead of signing,
honestly,
instead of
yeah.
signing a bigger
Honestly,
name for more money,
Yeah.
save a little money there. Go with the
But
bargain
they should have.
choice.
They should have moved up and drafted somebody then.
Yeah, absolutely. I really thought that was going to happen, and I was disappointed when it didn't.
They took no running backs.
Nope.
No.
Brutal.
And you can get your running backs late and still have
Oh, yeah.
pretty good guys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're still out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to see what happens. And Saquon signing with the Eagles is brutal. Just brutal.
But we do have that in common, though, right? An absolute
we do.
down to the bone hatred of the Eagles.
And you know what I hate actually worse than the actual Eagles team is the friggin' Eagles
fans.
coach.
Oh, the coach.
The fans. I don't want to piss
people.
off a whole fan base.
He
But
can't pit. One of his almost adopted sons is a diehard Eagles fan with Jay.
All right.
So
no,
he's got-
I can't. That
Sorry, Jay.
That coach
You suck.
The coach he's a smart ass. I've never seen a coach.
He's very smarmy.
He is.
smarmy. What a word.
Yeah, he's
not a
like
word, I thought.
That's a guy you'd like to smack in the face.
I know. I was so happy because when they were winning, he was friggin' like a prima donna. But then when they started losing, he got to sit himself down. He's in the same category as that friggin' coach for the Blue Jays.
God, you hate him.
They both just incite anger in me.
Why, man? I'm going to text you a picture of that guy on a daily basis now. When he was calling Aaron Boone "fat boy,"
Yeah, jeez,
that's why you hate him.
No, I
because
just
that one. No, it was
because
that one
he's a
game.
smart ass, just like the Eagles coach. They're just smart asses. Just be a freaking coach. Be professional.
No.
We need, we need a.
The manager of the Yankees is complaining the whole friggin' game, and the coach for the Blue Jays, and Aaron Boone's like very slight. He's not fat at all. He goes, he kept going, "Fat ass, just shut up over there, fat ass."
While they got their ass kicked, so
Yes.
it was even. But yeah, no, I'm not a Philly fan. Philly is like right kind of in the Boston area for me.
All right.
For like and not like.
Good.
But no,
You can always root against the Eagles.
Well, I'm a Jaguars fan, and they
I like
seem to
Jags.
be on the up and up.
I like
so.
Jags. You know, I just saw a little poll where they picked like the tiers of teams for playoffs, and they're way down there.
Well,
Surprisingly,
yeah, because it's the Jacksonville
No,
Jaguars.
but they have a good team. Honestly, I think they have a good team.
You can have a good team.
I think they're good. I like the
Jacksonville
quarterback.
Jaguars.
I like Trevor Lawrence.
So, sorry, Big G, but just living in that city can run you down.
Oh, come on, man. Wow. And,
Hey, I lived there
all right.
for a little while.
All right, calm it down there, man.
Okay.
How about Tua? They gonna sign him
I mean,
down in Miami?
I feel like they should, but I feel like if you have a quarterback that's decent, you should probably throw money at him.
He's a good quarterback.
You should lock him up.
It's
I mean,
so
that's-
hard to hit
it's
on a
the-
quarterback now.
It's the game changer for everybody. Like that's like who are the teams that are great? Who are their quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's always a quarterback.
Yeah. There's no. I don't think game managers can do it anymore.
Nope.
You need a playmaker at quarterback.
Nope. Yeah. So with that said, I'm gonna segue it.
Oh,
I'm doing it. I'm doing this.
Seggy.
Does Quinn come out and be successful? That Luke over here is a diehard Texas Longhorns fan,
Big time.
so he knows that team pretty well. Does Quinn come out and do really well next year, or do you think Quinn gets hurt and Arch comes in and then Quinn just draft stock dissipates?
I think, I think Quinn has all the makings of a great quarterback. I think he just has to avoid that freak hit. If he can avoid that freak hit, and I think we'll see this year. We've seen Quinn make some runs, take some hits, go head first. I think we see a lot more sliding from Quinn. I think we see a lot more
I hope so.
throwaways from Quinn. I think we see a lot fewer forced passes from Quinn this year. I think he's going to mature a ton. They said in the pro day that he was dropping dimes.
Did you watch any of it?
I didn't get to watch it.
I watched a little bit of it. He was, but he knows those. Him and Worthy know each other. So, but he
That's
was
true. But I think we're going to see a much more mature Quinn this year. And so as long as the O-line can keep him protected, which I think won't be a problem because those are gigantic human beings who are very, very talented. I think they'll keep him safe. I think he'll make smarter decisions. And I think he'll do really, really well.
That honestly will put, if he has a decent year this year, he will be the first quarterback on most people's boards.
Yeah.
Just because of his physical tools.
Yeah.
I think he's built for the NFL.
He is.
They're going to put
and Carson
more size
Beck is
on him
not.
between here and next April.
Yeah.
He'll get more size on him. If he gets that whole season under his belt, I think he's going to be top quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think Arch is going to be primed. I think I want to see Arch in a bunch of garbage time this year. That's what I want.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be hard too, though, with the SEC schedule.
Oh,
but it's going to be,
it's a gauntlet for sure.
But even garbage time with Arch, you can be up 14 and put him in and still feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
God, what kind of pressure do you have to have? You're the starting quarterback for 2 years, considered one of the top. You're on the friggin' cover of the new video game. And if you want to make one mistake this year, the fan base is going to be breathing down your neck about Arch Manning.
Well, the fan base.
How
that's
how much
football.
pressure? Yeah, but you very rarely have somebody like Arch Manning just because of name behind you.
Well, true. And college fans are brutal throughout the country, but Texas fans have.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, we sometimes have an unrealistic expectation of what success is. For us, a 10-win season is not success.
Yeah.
It's a natty. That's what we want this year.
Year, I mean, for sure this year.
Last year, it was there.
You should, with the team composition, they should be in the SEC championship game.
Yep.
And they should make the playoff as a pretty high seed. If they don't win that SEC game, they should be the second best SEC team on paper. So that would put them at the 5 seed or the 6 seed at that point?
Mm-hmm.
So they should go in as a pretty high seed into the playoffs. I think 2 losses, you're still making it in. You can still have a successful year. If they lose 3,
you can make it with 3. So if you look at the structure of the playoff, it's the top 5 at the top. So the Power 4 will obviously get in, the winners of those, and then one random conference will get a champion.
Yeah, so group of 5 already automatically gets one.
So you could bet that outsider conference champion is not top 5 ranked.
No.
So that means 5 through 12 are in. Last year, 11 and 12 had 3 losses. So
last year was a little bit different, though. There was a lot of losses just across college football last year.
I think we're going to see more of that with NIL. Everybody's getting better players, better teams. And I think it's really possible you see 4 SEC teams in that playoff.
Yeah, I know. We had talked about it before on here, and I think Bunkin, and I guess we're calling him B Cloud now. He's medium G to my heart. In my heart, he's always medium G. Sorry there, medium G. But they were saying there's no way 3-loss team gets in. I fought that because I think you look at maybe a 1-loss Tulane, right? Against a 3-loss Texas. Who are you putting in?
You're putting Texas in.
Yeah.
You're putting Texas in. Even if it's LSU or not LSU, but like Missouri. Missouri has a really good team. 3 losses this year. Okay, 1 loss Tulane or 3-loss Missouri. You're putting in Missouri.
Yeah.
Bigger conference.
Bigger fan base.
Bigger fan base. And honestly, better product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Because
there's going to be so much politics in that.
3-loss Missouri would have been undefeated in the Tulane conference.
Right. But how much is that debate muddied now that it's going to be about 12 and 13 instead of 4 and 5, though? Because really, how important are those teams at that point? We'll see years where a 3-loss team will make a run in the playoffs, but it's statistically ain't going to happen very often.
I don't think you're going to see the outcry like you saw this year.
Right.
Because there's a lot more gray area. There's going to be a lot more, combined opponents and total scores and what conference, how their conference do, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot more that can come into it than there was last year when Florida State just got sort of snuffed.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was brutal. That was brutal.
I mean, I'm happy Texas got in, but I felt very bad for that fan base. I understand their anger. you were undefeated.
Yeah, it's rough.
Undefeated. That's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do you can't do more than that. You can't do more than beat everybody.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, and they're a big team. I mean, that conference though is just
They need to
now
get out of that conference.
Yeah.
they're trying. Clemson and FSU are like suing the ACC
Yeah.
to let them out.
Yep.
But where are they gonna go?
So here's the thing. Big Ten would make sense because they would have a reach down in the Southeast at that point. But those schools academically, Clemson is, but Florida State's not there. It's because
Clemson
you
goes
have to
big.
they have like an academic standard in the Big Ten. I forget what it's called, but you have to have be this style of school, this academic standard school.
Yeah,
And if you're not, they don't really consider you. That's why like Nebraska's there now because that's like academically a very good school.
yeah.
And that's why those West Coast teams were fighting for it because some of them weren't. And they finally got it like this past year. Probably some politics played in that. But
Yeah.
but you have to. So Florida State's not that like academically not there.
No.
So SEC, but they hate the SEC over that whole last thing of them trying to get out. And the SEC was like, no, we're good. So where do they go?
but the ACC is not good, man.
And it's a lateral move going to the Big 12. That's a lateral move from the ACC.
It's more money.
It is more money, but it's still a lateral move.
Well, now the
competition.
Texas and
Well,
Oklahoma are down.
I'd say going from the ACC to the Big 12, you become a big dog.
You're the big dog in a shitty conference.
No, I mean, there's still some good teams
in
there.
a shitty power conference.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it's better competition than the ACC, I think.
I think it's the same.
Yeah.
I do. Because look at what NC State's done the past few years. Wake Forest has been really good. Compare Wake Forest to Iowa State. Compare NC State to Oklahoma State. Like the North Carolina's been good. So there's teams there that have been good. They've been making bowl games. It's just not the name recognition of the players isn't there.
Yeah.
It's this bias that's a basketball conference already. So, but there are teams there that definitely I think match up very well to the Big 12.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, okay, we'll give it to you.
Hey, mark it, everybody. He just gave me credit. That never happened.
I do want to ask you one thing about Quinn Ewers. So, because I had this with pick, so I do think he's very good, and maybe it's because he just doesn't look like he's kind of like effortless. He reminds me of like Michael Penix. When I watch him play, I was like, I mean, his stats are like off the board.
Yeah.
But he just, when you're watching him, like the optics just are like, I don't know. And Quinn's kind of that way. He doesn't put a lot of effort. He's not like, he's effortless when he does it. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't, but he makes all the throws. He does everything right. But it just, I don't know. It looks different.
Yeah, it does. And I'm certainly not making this direct comparison, but that was Vince. You know, he just like didn't look flashy.
Yeah.
Like when he's running, he looks like he's slow, but he's covering ground like crazy. I think if you look at the best, right, I think that's what you see.
No, I think
they're not working hard.
I think it's a good thing. It's just when you're watching him, you know, you're saying, well, he I mean, his stats are like phenomenal, but then you're like, I don't know. The optics are just different with him.
Yeah.
Even with him and Arch. I mean, Arch looks like when he's like,
Arch,
he's
God.
throwing.
I think Arch is even more so.
It's
Like even in garbage time last year, he took off for a run, and you're like, run fast, guy. And then you're like, wait,
he's
15
fast.
yards downfield
He's
already.
crazy.
I know.
Crazy fast.
I know.
And it's just
For
because
his size.
It's because of his size that you don't, you know, us mere mortals don't realize the size of those guys on
big.
the field.
They're big.
Big boys.
They are. They're
moving.
They are large.
I've been around big people like my whole life, so they look like normal.
You are big people.
I'm the small person of the big people.
I love the look on people's faces. Like, because you and I, we've known each other like 15 years now.
Yeah, it's been
So we've been hanging out a while, and we do a lot of stuff. And so I love introducing Nick to people and like, God dang, you're a big guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm the smallest guy in my family. And they're like, oh my God.
Like, I'm the runt.
They got all their size for me.
Yeah.
I'm a whopping 5'8".
Hey, but that foot size of 9.5 is getting up there.
9.5.
Whatever the hell it is.
The hell was that?
Yeah, you have small feet.
Freaking 11s, baby. Come on.
That's not what you used to say.
We haven't
All right.
even got into
growing
that.
up. Listen,
It
growing
used to
up,
be. I got older and they stretched out a little bit.
Growing up,
They get bigger.
growing up our whole life,
You're an
when
ass.
he was mad at us, he would say, "I'm gonna break this 9.5 off in your ass if you don't shut the hell up over there." And now it's an 11. How does that happen?
I honestly don't know how. I went to the store and I was like, "Holy shit! I wear 11s." I don't know, man.
Miss Mark's box.
Maybe after kicking you guys in the ass, he's yanking his foot out there and stretching it out.
That's it. That must be. He's got one long foot. There was 5 of us, so
Man.
my left foot's a 24. My right foot's a
I'm
9.5.
just telling you. I mean, you're like a freaking. You got like a boat down there. You're 13. Wait till you like Maya. You're gonna be like a 16. That's how it works. You go a couple sizes up when you get older.
All right.
I honestly don't know why I'm 11, but I am.
I agree. You act like you're 11.
Yeah, okay.
So I just we are gonna enjoy a little whiskey on air
Holy
today
shit,
with
I
all
just
of you.
took a sip. This
Stuff's good. This is an Irish whiskey. I don't know if we could plug. I don't care if we plug them. It's called. What do you call it? Bunk knows about it.
It's the Natterback
Natterback.
Irish whiskey. It's
Okay.
good. It's good and smooth. It's a little hot, but it's good.
Strength.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a
I
good
might
mixer.
have to look for this. I'm not generally an Irish whiskey guy. I'm American whiskey, rye, bourbon, but this is
good,
really
isn't it?
tasty.
Yeah.
For Irish whiskey, that is incredibly smooth.
I can't take
Yeah,
it there, little
it's
man.
not. I find like Irish whiskey is usually like really sharp.
Yeah.
and sometimes has like this astringency to it, which is a lot of what I don't like about Scotch.
Yeah. That Band-Aidy, peaty flavor.
This
a lot
is
of
pretty
people
good
struggle
though.
with
This
that.
is pretty good
Well, and
stuff.
often like I like compared. And my Scotch buddies give me shit all the time for shitting on Scotch. Like, ooh, you need your big fat flavor bourbons. But that's what I like about American whiskey and bourbon is it's big and round and bold.
Yep.
And this, maybe it's because it's cast strength. It's got
it's got
some
that
roundness
Yep.
to it. It's got some body to it, which is really nice.
Yeah,
It's good.
Little brown sugar almost immediately, and then it kind of heats up as it goes.
Yeah,
So
that's really good. I like that.
So you have, and this is, I guess we're getting off the sports, but you do have.
Hey, listen, before we get off sports, let's talk one more. No. I'm not
That's fine.
talking yet.
Go
I already
ahead.
did
Go
my
ahead.
Yankees. We need to do a quick shout out to the Texas women's
Oh,
softball
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Because they are friggin'
crushing it.
unbelievable. I mean, I watched the whole game here this weekend. They are, god dang, they are unbelievable.
Yeah, they ruled Florida.
They did run. That's the game I watched. And they just jack, man.
Well, if we take it back a week, they had to play. They played A&M.
Just Jack.
They did. They hit the friggin' ball.
They played.
I've never heard, man, that team's jacking over there.
Okay. you're a
They
yoser.
just jack.
Okay. It's a 70s term. Get up to speed.
I don't know what films
Let's
you were
let
watching.
Luke. Luke was trying to talk to us about the game before.
Well, so the week before that in the Super Regionals, they had to play the Aggies, and they dropped game 1 on Friday night, and everybody was like, "What?" Because they were 1 seed.
Yeah.
And then they had to come from behind both the second 2 games to win, and they did. And I think that launched them into the stratosphere as far as confidence goes. And then they came in to the World Series and just smashed Florida.
I mean, they knocked out Florida had their number 1 pitch. She didn't even make it the inning. She didn't even make it one. She made like 2 outs, I think, 1 or 2 outs. But they hit the ball, man.
Yeah, and that Texas pitcher was a freshman that was out there.
Yes, yeah. And that was
just-
like a
yeah.
surprise that she was pitching. I remember when I was watching, it was like they didn't expect her, but she was really good.
She had the stuff.
Yeah. It's fun to watch. The women's softball is really fun to watch, man. I enjoy it.
They've been dominant all year.
Yeah,
This year.
They finally unseated, like
Oklahoma
Oklahoma was the
yes.
1 seed like
I know.
forever, and they finally unseated.
There's
them as
a
1
reason
seed.
the Women's College World Series is in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
I mean, Oklahoma's been ruling college softball
Yeah.
forever.
I think it's going to come back down to Texas and Oklahoma again because
that'd be
they're both
1 and 2.
advanced, and now they got to.
1 and 2.
I just love so much that on the way out the door in the Big 12, it's Texas, Oklahoma. It's Texas, Oklahoma.
That's
Texas,
true.
In everything.
That's true.
Texas won 15 Big 12 championships this year.
Wow.
15 Big 12 championships. That's insane.
And sometimes we can say that, and football's not one of those. And football was one of those this year.
Usually, we won so many Big 12 championships. How'd you do in football? Oh, we won a bunch of Big 12 championships.
We won diving. We won rowing. We won cross country.
Did they win? Yeah. Did they win volleyball again this year? Do you know? They're always really good at volleyball.
I don't know if they didn't
Natty.
win the Natty. They were in the Natty, though.
They were in the Natty and lost that. I think that was Nebraska. They lost it too this year.
Yeah, Nebraska was no.
Was it Nebraska?
It wasn't. Nebraska was dirty. They were very good. And if Nebraska did win, I remember their best player on the Nebraska team, the day after the national champ or whatever, the last game, entered the portal, and that same day committed to Texas.
Oh, my God.
Switched over to Texas.
Wow.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I think Texas did win the national championship in volleyball this year.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know if they did, but they are always really good. That swimming, they're good. They're always good in that stuff.
Problem is the high exposure sports they've been lacking in lately. Football, basketball, baseball's been not the greatest.
Well, baseball didn't do it.
That team is so young. Do they get rid of Pierce? Do they get rid of the coach? Man,
no, he's still.
Man, I saw some guys talking on Twitter. Yeah, I still call it Twitter.
You should. It's a
about
Twitter.
this.
You can't call it X.
No,
That's
I can't
freaking
say
stupid. I was on X the other day.
Yeah, I was on X the other day. Like, wait, what?
The hell are you talking about?
Yeah, these guys were talking on Twitter. They're like, he gets hot-headed and yells at players. Not good. Staff turnover, never a good sign.
Right.
And the team is up and down. They're not consistent, right? They're wishy-washy, and that's not good. So we'll see.
I'll tell you what.
I mean, I don't think they're firing in this offseason. I think he gets another year.
Yeah.
But then we'll see.
The whole how they handled the coaching staff with Tulowitzki, that was very strange.
Yeah.
And he ultimately ended up leaving because of it. Like he was an amazing player, but he's been an amazing coach for Texas. And that whole situation was very strange. I don't know about Pierce. I mean, he's been here 8 years, and he's kind of topped out at. He's made, 2 or 3 World Series, which for Texas, that's kind of low number-wise. But you're also, getting compared to Augie Garrido.
No, Augie.
Augie was one of the best ever.
And before him, it was Cliff Gustafson.
Yeah, one of the best ever.
Yeah, those guys were legends.
So you're going in the SEC, and I read a stat that was 9 of the 10 highest paid baseball coaches are in the SEC. And there's a reason they're the highest paid. You better have sound fundamentals when you go into that league. That's probably the best baseball league in the nation. Man, brutal. That's a brutal grind.
It is. That's a good league. But Texas was borderline, honestly, this year. Their record got them in, but their baseball team was up and down all year. And then they blew the game against A&M. They had that game against A&M.
They had that game, and I feel bad for the kid, but the shortstop, two innings in a row.
Oh my God, though. But he made he made like amazing defensive catch.
Yeah.
But his throws were like, my God,
Way
they were
off.
like 20 feet off first base, which was really
2 in a row.
Really odd. And I know he's been their shortstop now for a few years.
He is. He was all Big. I think he was all Big 12.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're and then they got killed by Louisiana.
Yeah, I think it was just quick turnaround plus tiredness.
All the wind out of
that's a tough game to turn around and get. Yeah,
you're up till 12-1 in the morning playing, and then turn around for a 2:00 game.
And you got to win 3 in a row,
right?
Yeah. So that anyway, they got there. That was good. But the women are just like phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm excited about that. See if they can take that. I don't know how anybody's gonna beat them. That whole line, they hit a lot of home runs, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's really surprising for softball. I know that the catcher won Player of the Year this year.
Yeah,
and she's got the single season record for Texas home runs as well.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's crazy.
Well, cool.
They're putting it together.
Shout out to Texas rowing as well. The women's rowing team won the national championship. So
yeah,
nice.
Another natty. Put it in the case.
I saw they all jump in the water after they won, and the coach yells Texas. The players yell fight, Texas, fight. Then the coach says, I say Texas. You say all right, all right, all right.
Hey, now that I like.
I know you
That's
do.
my boy there.
Yeah, he loves McConaughey over
I'm
there.
a Maddie fan.
I thought that was pretty good.
Good. Very cool.
He's a McConaughey guy. Right?
I am a McConaughey guy. I like him. We're going to get him on the show at some point.
While you ladies finish that Irish whiskey, so I'm over here.
Hey, you motherfucker! We invited you into this house.
I know. That's why I walk into the house and these guys with a snicker, they're like, "Hey, you want to try something?" And they got this Garrison Brothers Cowboy Bourbon. All right, so the Cowboy Bourbon comes out like once a year, and this thing is 137 proof.
I will have a small amount.
Oh
with you.
my God.
Oh,
I'm
he's
going
gonna
to
do
pass
it.
because it is
gonna do
pure fire.
Yeah, my face will immediately
Oh my
turn
God.
beet red.
Look, I can see the smoke coming
That's
from it
good,
right
that's good.
now. Yeah, that's we bought that. I bought that, and then we had a little party, and I was like, hey, let's do some shots, guys. And we did some shots, and everybody at the same time was like, holy shit.
Oh,
is
you
that
guys were
strong?
shooting this? Yowzers.
Well, this was pre-refinement.
Pre-refinement. Okay. She's a strong one, though.
It smells good. Yeah. So for those of you guys listening who don't drink a lot of Texas bourbon, because of the extreme heat we have in Texas, the bourbon goes in and out of the barrel a lot faster than it does, like say in Kentucky, right? So it's almost like speed aging. And they actually had, I think it was Garrison who had a problem with exploding barrels.
It was Garrison. Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
They were using a traditional oak barrel for it, but the wood wasn't thick enough
I didn't know
because of the
that.
Texas heat and so much expanding. And they were in their rick house where they were blowing
Oh,
up.
my God.
They were coming into blown up barrels, so they had to get thicker walled barrels for sure.
What do you think? A little warm?
It's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No?
It's
I
got
think-
I get a lot of that. Like obviously, there's tons and tons of oak, so it's super dry. Get a lot of cinnamon out of that. It's actually a really sweet finish.
We may have made the mistake of doing
It's hot.
shots.
Maybe that's it.
I'll tell you
Have
what.
I burned all my taste buds?
I'll tell you
out,
what. Well, all right. So for those that don't know, Luke runs a awesome Instagram social media page called Suburban Bourbon Burn. Definitely check that out when you get a chance, and we'll definitely plug that into the show notes and everything.
Yeah,
but so you've been drinking a lot of whiskeys, right? So you've been going through and kind of just really experimenting. I know you started out kind of novice, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this was a COVID hobby, right? So
Yeah.
like so many of us now have a new hobby thanks to the lockdown. But I started getting into whiskeys and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And what I like is I like the rules of whiskey, of like specifically American whiskey and bourbon. Vodka can be made out of anything, rum can be made out of anything, but bourbon whiskey, specifically bourbon, has rules. Which I really like. And so I like experimenting within that. And so what I really like is single barrel and barrel strength stuff, because that's like the purest form. I mean, single barrels can still get watered down, but for proofing, but it's like the purest form of the art, I think, which is really interesting, which is why this is really fascinating that this is 137 proof is drinking so smooth. It could also be because, how old is this bottle?
That's probably about 3 years old.
Okay, so that might be it too,
Yeah.
because it's had time to get oxygen in the bottle and kind of settle.
It is.
you know,
I
you're
will
right,
say it's
you're
a
right.
lot more.
Is
and
it?
Bunk, I would say try maybe a knock because it's way less. And I've been drinking a lot of whiskey with you,
Yeah,
so I guess maybe the tolerance has built up to that
Yeah.
heat.
yeah,
But it's not quite as hot as I remember. The first time we had this,
It
it
was
took your breath away.
Yeah, no, I could see that for sure. But the time in the bottle, it doesn't age anymore in the bottle, but it will mellow out. I think with that oxygen in there over time, and especially like if you've been drinking more whiskey. Also, we started with that Irish whiskey, and that
did.
Irish whiskey is not a slouch. That
No,
was a
not at all.
That was a barrel proof at 126 proof. So we really kind of like primed our taste
Yeah.
buds.
Yeah, for sure.
To get into that.
Yeah,
So actually I will say that's the best Garrison Brothers I've ever had.
it's
Wow. Okay.
on the second drink. It's a lot better, and maybe it's because I haven't touched it in 3 years because of that awful night.
It was hot. It was hot when we first got it.
Yeah.
It was kick your teeth in hot.
Well,
But
it
this
also
is
depends on what else you were drinking and
yeah,
how
for
far
sure.
into the night you were.
Yeah, we definitely primed ourselves with that Irish whiskey
Yeah.
on this one. And that first sip of the Irish whiskey, just like any whiskey, it's a little bit hot. You hit the second one.
It tones down.
The Garrison, it tastes a lot better now than it did then. And
I mean, like you thought, like when I walked in here, these guys were like, "I'm going to play a joke on this."
Yeah, we did.
Well, that's because that's what we did. And then I thought about, I was like,
kerosene.
hang on. He drinks a lot of high proof whiskey. He might like it. I think he might like it.
Well, it is popular. It's a
very popular.
one.
But
Garrison Brothers has a cult following.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is a very polarizing whiskey. You either love it or you hate it. I've generally been on the wrong side of that, but this may turn me around because that's really tasty. The problem though is that they're so expensive.
It is.
They're
It
so
is
expensive.
ridiculous.
Like all their stuff, like I mean, their small batch is like $80,
Yeah.
and then it goes up from there, which is pricey. So you have
Yeah.
to, and it's hard. It's hard to take a flyer on like a $200 bottle of whiskey
It
that
is.
you haven't
It
tried,
is.
and so I got to find more places to try more of the Garrison offerings.
I really feel like not a lot of places in Austin carry more than their just run, like their straight run.
Yeah.
You don't see their specialty. You don't see this.
No, you don't see that.
At the restaurant.
I want to try the Ladybird. I want to try the Balmaria. I want to try the Guadalupe.
Yeah.
You know, all those different flavors that they offer. But I want to try before I buy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and this was almost a $200 bottle. So it was expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
It's lasted 3 years.
It's signed too. It is a
you've got your
signed
money's
bottle
worth.
as well.
I mean, it's a cool bottle and everything. Yeah, everything's cool.
got,
on
you
it.
guys can hear the little medallion hanging off of there. That's
pretty
cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
I like it. Thank
All
you
right,
for
all
sharing that with me. That's tasty.
Absolutely.
Do you want to try a little?
No, I'm going to hold on that.
It's way better now than it used to be.
Yeah, well,
I've also been drinking a lot of whiskey.
I'll try it
but
though.
Yeah.
It's way better now than it used to be.
When I brought, do you guys want to try these cocktails? That I
Yeah,
brought?
Absolutely. Do you want to
absolutely.
go ahead and explain? What
Yeah, so we're going to start with this first one. So these are both riffs on an old fashioned. So basically, what I did was just kind of tweak that traditional recipe, right? It's whiskey with bitters, some sort of sweetener, and that's it. So this one I call a schmoke and a pancake.
Oh, I love it.
So this is a riff on a smoked old fashioned. So what I did was I used a nice sweet whiskey, a nice sweet bold whiskey. It's Four Roses single barrel strength. Okay. And I used Fee Brothers Turkish tobacco bitters. So you get that tobacco flavor. And then for sweetener, I used maple syrup.
Wow.
That's the pancake part. And then I smoked it with cigar smoke. So that's where you get the smoke and a pancake,
Smoker,
which is
It's delicious.
an Austin Powers
Oh
joke.
man, I like
Yeah.
that.
Is the
That
next-
is smooth.
Is the next one called a bong and a blitz?
Bong and a
Or a
blitz.
pipe and a crepe?
Pipe and
bong.
grape.
A
Like
what?
a bunghole?
A bong. Oh my God.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the
bong hole.
the classic misunderstanding joke, and we
It
finally
happens.
got
It happens every episode.
We had the dookie part earlier. That was good, but this one was even better.
Yes.
Guys,
The bung and a blend.
I'm gonna pass on the
bung-
bunghole
which-
drink.
Hey, that actually plays into whiskey. You know that's a whiskey word?
Yeah, bunghole.
I do know that. But
Okay,
that's
hang on,
not
no.
exactly-
What is it?
It's the pluggy hole in the thing in the barrel.
Pluggy hole in the thing in the barrel.
But normally a
Yikes.
bunghole is something else. You're a bunghole.
You're a bunghole.
Hey, this is really good.
Yeah,
Really smooth.
I'll tell you what.
yeah, I like this. A lot.
I've been along the ride of the cocktails that Suburban Bourbon Burn has been making over the years now.
Yeah.
The first few were alcoholic. He's really coming to his own and rounding out drinks. This is really good.
wonderful,
Well,
yeah.
I like boozy cocktails. That's just my jam. I don't want a bunch of fillers and sodas and fruit juices unless I'm making tiki drinks, right? Then we got to have a bunch of fruit juice. But I like to create cocktails, or I like to think that I create cocktails that really enhance the base spirit. Right. I don't want to cover it up with tons and tons of flavors.
Yeah.
I want to bring to the forefront the flavors that it naturally has. And so that's what I was going for with this one.
That's good.
It turned out pretty good.
It's really
So
good.
just a little background. You are a chef as well.
I am a chef.
So I don't know if everybody picked up on that last explanation there, but there's a lot of chefiness or
Chefiness?
or chef thought, right?
Let's go with chefiness.
Chefiness that goes into making a drink, like how he said, right? So wait, I want this main component.
Yeah.
And I think your background in food definitely helps with that. Your cocktails they're phenomenal.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I like to bring that experience, right? You know, when you're creating dishes, you often start with a protein, right? Is 99% of the time you're going to start, okay, I want to make a duck dish. And then you're like, okay, well, what's going to go well with this duck? And you start to think along the lines of either complementary or contrasting flavors, right? And then you have to think about things like salt, fat, acid, right? And so that's where like bitters comes in. A lot of people are afraid to use bitters in their cocktails because it's bitter. Well, obviously it's bitter, but what it is it's a seasoning for your cocktail. The other thing, I didn't mention that I put in here, I've started putting in all my cocktails, is a little bit of salt solution. So 4-to-1 water to salt, and you put it in a little dropper, and you put 2 to 3 drops of that into your cocktails. And what salt does in your food, it does in your cocktails as well. It enhances the flavors that are there. The drink is not salty. You don't drink this and go, oh, that's salty. Like you wouldn't even know if I hadn't told you.
Right.
But that salt enhances the other flavors that are in the cocktail.
I'm telling you, it is really good. So I knew you were talking about pairings. What would you recommend pairing with the pontoon of meal that I like?
With the pontoon? Oh, man.
Do you know what the pontoon is?
Oh, I know what the pontoon is, right? It's 2 microwave hot dogs with white American cheese.
Not white American cheese.
No, it's white American cheese.
Oh, white. Oh, you
white.
stepped it up from Kraft Singles.
It's the white
And I
American,
get it at
right?
the deli. Yeah, white American. White American with two pickles.
Land O'Lakes.
2 pickles.
Boar's Head, Land O'Lakes.
Boar's Head. I go top of the line, baby.
That to me definitely feels like a Tennessee whiskey. That's what we need with that.
The acidity from the pickle floats.
Let's
floats.
break that down.
All right, so you have a lot of saltiness
A lot of salt.
from the planks of the raft that are the hot dogs.
So the protein we have there's the hot dogs.
Yeah. And then you got smoke,
And then we go-
smoke, right?
we-
The hot dog's got a lot of smoke.
We do.
flavor.
And then we
do.
have a dairy. We have the dairy cheese. We have
dairy cheese.
the vegetables.
I think
the
the
fat.
I think the dairy's taken out of most of that cheese.
I will say, if you want to break it down, right? What do we want with a really well balanced dish, right? Salt,
Yeah.
fat, and acid.
Yeah.
He gets it.
I got
We
it.
got salt from that hot dog. We got fat from the cheese. We got acid from the pickle.
And then
he's
you
sitting on all the notes.
and then you get that pungentness from the old the mustard on top.
I'm telling you,
The
man.
French it. Yeah.
It's a classic, baby.
Is it?
I like. Yeah. I do like those. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
this was good. This was really good.
Would you? Well, hang on. No, you asked what we would pair with that.
He said Tennessee
I think
whiskey,
it's
Tennessee whiskey.
is the way
Just
to go.
straight.
like a moonshine. No.
I feel like you
it's-
need
it's got me-
something to cut.
Well, it's got me thinking of like a shot of whiskey with a pickle back. It's kind of like my thought.
Okay.
Right? You got that pickle in the dish as well.
What if you? So. I mean,
But I think we need sweet. We need some
you do.
sweetness.
So if you did like a
Because we've got
salty,
salt, fat, acid. we
salty
need some
dog
sweet.
style cocktail, but with bourbon and not grapefruit, you do the different. We'd have to use something different. All right,
Why-
grapefruit.
Why not use the grapefruit though?
I feel like grapefruit and whiskey would be rough together.
I think the sweetness in the whiskey might balance the bitterness in the grapefruit.
But the bitter end of whiskey is going to enhance the bitterness of that grapefruit at the
I've
end.
got a cocktail I need to make for you. It's I got this from there's a restaurant in Georgetown that has an insane whiskey list called the Golden Rule, and they have a drink on there called Chef's Choice. It's bourbon, it's grapefruit, it's lemon, it's simple syrup, and it is really really nice.
I have to try it to believe it. 'Cause
I'll have to make you one of those.
my classic training tells me that matching bitter with bitter is a bad idea. You know?
It works. It works. I don't know if it's because they're complementary, but it's tasty.
Nice.
You guys want to try another drink?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
yes.
All right. So this one, another riff on an old fashioned. I call this drink old fashioned breakfast. So this one
man.
took some work to make. I will tell you that. So what we have here is a bacon fat washed
Oh my God.
Buffalo Trace. Okay. So that's the base of the drink. So to
man.
bacon fat wash, you
Whoa.
mix a fat with your spirit. You can do any fat, any spirit. So butter, bacon fat, beef fat, pork fat. You can do oils, whatever.
Yeah.
And alcohol is fat soluble. So it will extract the flavor of the fat, and you mix those together. Then you freeze it so that the fat settles at the top. Then you strain it out. You remove that fat, strain it out. And what you have is a spirit that tastes like the fat. Also, bonus points save the fat because it now tastes like the spirit.
Wow.
And you can use that
Yeah.
fat for something else. So I got a bacon fat wash on Buffalo Trace bourbon, which is a nice, sweet, light bourbon. And I call this old-fashioned breakfast because the sweetener I used, I made a coffee maple simple syrup. All right. So you got bacon and coffee and maple syrup, and then it's got an orange slice in it as well. It's got those salt drops as well. So
Man, that's
It,
got coffee, bacon, maple, and orange.
you can taste it all.
it immediately, you smell your Orange Julius. First thing.
the orange bitters.
Yeah.
And that's why you got to use bitters.
But you smell the fattiness too in there. Like, when you smell like orange creamsicle,
Yeah.
right? When it's been melted down, that mixture where there's cream in there, you smell the fat in there, it rounds it out a little bit.
I've never let one sit long enough to melt down.
You've made orange ice cream before.
Sure.
Right. So there you go.
This
So it's
is
the
good.
citrus and the fat together.
And
Yeah.
you can taste the bacon, the orange, and you can taste everything. Man, I will say
This is the pontoon
you know what?
drink.
I like these drinks because they're smooth. They don't like bite you. You know,
So
they're
I
very
do-
smooth.
In these, I did put a little more of the sweetener than I usually do. Usually when I make it old fashioned, I don't want it super sweet. I want a bar spoon of simple syrup or demerara syrup just to round the drink and take a little bit of the edge off. With these, the sweetener, I wanted to be a flavor component in the cocktail. So these do have about a 1/4 ounce of the sweetener in them.
That's good.
Just to bring all those extra
That's
flavors.
really good.
I've got a new orange liqueur for you to try.
Oh, yeah?
Paula's, that local Austin.
Have you had-
Orange is unbelievable.
Have you had the grapefruit?
I haven't had the grapefruit yet.
Paula's grapefruit makes an insane Paloma.
Oh, I bet.
Super
bet.
good. I'm really into dry curacao right now because it's got that strong orange flavor, but it's very dry and it's not very sweet.
Yeah.
So that's the orange I've been using in a lot of cocktails.
Man.
But orange bitters, a bunch I've been using, and that's in. I don't think I mentioned that orange bitters is in here as well.
It's wonderful. It's a wonderful drink.
Thank you very
I
much.
like it. Yeah, both these were. See, these I like to drink. I think that's why I stay away from I wasn't a fan of the cowboy guy because it just kind of bites you real hard.
Yeah.
These are smooth.
Well,
I
and
like
the thing
this.
you can do with like the barrel proof whiskeys and stuff, and a lot of the whiskey guys will tell you, put a couple drops of water in it. That'll
Yep.
pull down the proof. It won't change the flavor though.
Mm-hmm.
So
Also-
then you can get the flavor.
Also, inhale while you're taking your sip. That the air aerates the heat
Mhm.
a little bit in your mouth, so higher proof whiskeys will be less hot.
Yeah, when you're smelling this stuff, open your mouth to smell it. That allows some of that air to escape and keeps you from coughing
Yeah.
when you smell it. And then when you take a drink of it, a tiny drink, not a shot, right? You do a little sip.
Well, you're saying you shouldn't shoot 134 proof whiskey?
I mean, it depends on what your plans for the evening are. I guess.
It ended the evening.
You take a little, and I learned this. I've toured Still Austin Distillery
Yeah.
a couple times, and what they'll tell you, especially like at the beginning of the tour when you're trying the white dogs.
Oh
straight
man,
off
I
the still,
remember us doing that. Yeah.
What they do is they say take a tiny sip, don't swallow it immediately. You take the sip, let it sit on your tongue, and then let it just fall down your tongue and evaporate. And that's when it can coat your tongue and get all those flavors. And it's much less harsh on trying to swallow it. So you put it in your mouth, let it sit for a second, and then just let it fall on your tongue and just slowly evaporate.
Nice.
And it makes a huge difference in tasting, especially high proof stuff.
This is good. These drinks were both exceptional. I mean, I would
order. Yeah,
definitely
you would definitely order these.
I would definitely order these.
These are right up your alley too.
And I've got these videos for these will be on the Suburban Bourbon Burn.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And what these are bourbon in here or whiskey?
They're both bourbons.
And what bourbon did you use?
This one was Buffalo Trace bourbon. So this is a lower proof. The first one was the Four Roses single barrel strength.
Okay.
Which is in like the 120s. This Buffalo Trace is 90.
Okay.
So much lower proof. I wanted something nice and sweet that would match kind of that whole breakfast vibe.
Well, this is good. So I got to ask you, have you ever been on the Bourbon Trail?
I have not. I am working with my wife on setting up a trip for my birthday this year in September.
So we did the Bourbon Trail.
Yeah.
And we went to Four Roses and we hit like, there's a map. You can kind of take them and hit them all. And it is definitely worth it. It's a lot. We were kind of doing it on the way back. So it wasn't like the main focus of the trip. But once we kind of said, hey, there's a Bourbon Trail, let's go hit them all.
Yeah.
And it is amazing to kind of hit all the places there. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you can get bottles there that you can't get retail. And that's kind of the cool thing.
Yeah, I'm flying. If I'm going to Kentucky, I'm flying with an empty Pelican case.
Yeah.
With the plan of flying that thing back.
Yeah, absolutely. I would recommend it. And there's even some like out of the way small places that you wouldn't even think of. And we were trying to hit as many as we could on the way back, and it was a blast. But we came home with like I had all kinds. I was just buying it. Let's buy it. And then there's a place in Louisiana too that serves. Golly, it's more of a rum, I think.
Okay.
And every time we go through, do you remember that, Pick, when we go through? I can't remember that. I have to come up with the name of it.
Baton Rouge?
It's in that area there, and they make it out of one of the plants there. But it was, I mean, all these out of the way places, they're really fun just to kind of, when you're traveling and something, just stop in. But the Bourbon Trail is honestly, it's a must.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
It's on my list. I'm bummed I haven't done it yet, but it's something. And I feel like if I had done it, 4 years ago when I first got into whiskey, it might have been a waste.
Yeah.
I think it would have. Yeah. You're going to appreciate it so much more now.
Yeah. Now that I'm into it, and I think, I think it'll be so much more fascinating.
It's like an ultimate dude's trip because there's all like these big name golf course management places are starting to make some very, very high level golf courses along the Bourbon Trail as well now. So you can do bourbon and golf as you go down the trail, and really close to each distillery is a worth it golf course.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if it was planned out, maybe next year or something. But if it was planned out, that would be
that
awesome.
would be fun. We were even in French Lick, Indiana. Don't ask me. we were.
Why were you in French Lick?
I know. We're
Might as well.
Larry Bird, but you would be surprised. There's like a huge resort there.
Okay.
Amazing resort, and they have a distillery. They have their own. I think it's whiskey. I think.
Yeah.
And I'm sad I didn't get one because you're not going to get them. You're just not going to find that here in Texas.
Well, there's a ton of whiskey made in Indiana. There's a company called MGP.
Really?
That makes, I don't know what the percentage is, but a ton. They make tons and tons and tons of distillate, and then they send it out to all these different bottling companies, basically is what they become. And there's this whole debate as to, well, is it whiskey if you didn't make it yourself?
Right.
Like it's still Austin. They do grain to glass.
Right.
So they got together with a bunch of Texas farmers, grew Texas grains to make Texas whiskey. They do it start to finish in their distillery, which is amazing. But there's a lot of bottling companies, I think is what you should call them, maybe aging companies, where they get the white dog, the distillate, they put it in barrels themselves. And so then you're like, well, is the artistry there when you're barreling and aging? Because like if I say I made bread from scratch, you're not going to ask me if I grew the wheat, milled the wheat,
right?
Right?
Yeah, so, distillate flavor can only change so much,
right? And oftentimes those companies are giving those distilleries their mash bill. Here's what I want in it. They just don't have the infrastructure to do the distillate, right? So they'll have them build their mash bill. They'll ship the white dog to them. They'll put it in barrels and age it. Which I think is fine. I'm totally fine with MGP. And some people nose down at MGP stuff. I don't care. I think that aging starts when you put it in a barrel. You decide how long it sits in the barrel, Does it go into another barrel if you're going to second barrel it or whatever? How long do you age it? All that kind of stuff. That's what I think is really fascinating.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
cool.
Indiana, tons of whiskey.
That may be, but I was. We were driving, so I could have picked it up easily, and now I was like, shit, I should have done that. I should have, because I like getting all the. I'm probably more of a collector, bigger than I am a drinker. I mean, I do like drinking it, but I like to try and get like really unique stuff.
Yeah,
that you can't just go into the liquor store here in Austin and pick up. So,
yeah, I think that's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. Well, anything else to add there, Bunk?
I don't have anything. This has been great, man. I appreciate you coming on, Luke. It's been awesome. And I love talking bourbon. I mean, you know, I have a little collection downstairs.
Yeah, I was impressed with that collection.
Yeah. It's kind of fun. I still haven't got my pappy. Can't get the pappy. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know if it's worth it.
It's not.
I hate to even think it's worth it, to be honest with you.
If you can catch it, I think the retail on some of those pappies ranges from like $150 to $250.
Yeah.
If you can catch it on one of those draws, definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Grab it. But it is, $3,000 for a bottle of whiskey.
Not worth it.
I know. It is ridiculous. And the other one I'm trying to get is and I don't even know why I'm intrigued, is the Whistle Pig, the Boss Hog
The
ones.
Boss Hog?
Yeah.
Oh, you can walk into a lot of stores and get it if you want to drop some coin.
That's the problem.
So he's waiting for a specific store to get it.
That's the problem. And I've not tasted. Have you ever had the Boss Hog?
I have not had the Boss Hog. I was actually in Vegas last week, and we were my wife has a much cooler job than I have, so we were in the Venetian. We're like on their dime, and so I was joking with the hotel host. I was like, "Hey, let's do double shots of Boss Hog," and she was like, probably not. It was $260 a pour.
Oh my God.
I knew that. I was obviously joking with her. I was like, yeah, that's.
So I would, you know what? I think I'm more intrigued because I think it's distilled in Vermont. I believe it's a Vermont distillery, which I like Vermont. And it's just, I don't know why. I have no idea why I'm intrigued with it. It's definitely gettable. You can find it.
Sure.
It's expensive as
The
hell,
Whistle
though.
Pig, I love the Whistle Pig piggyback 6-year rye. It's insane. The 10-year single barrel, really, really good. I have not found that I super enjoy all their like super finished stuff.
Yeah.
But that Boss Hog, I'm sure it's phenomenal.
I'm intrigued. So we'll have to get if I get one, we'll
give me a holler.
I'll have to get you to do it on your you'll do it on your show. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, we'll do a video.
We're chefs.
Yeah,
we're scroungers.
Absolutely.
Well, man, we're scroungers. We're chefs.
All right, cool. I don't have anything else, Pick.
Awesome. Well, Luke, if kind of floor is yours. If you want to plug any social media, anything like that, go ahead. And any parting words?
I'll just say Suburban Bourbon Burn. Again, check it out. Making bourbon drinks, making whiskey drinks, making rye drinks. I've really gotten more into cocktails than like I think there's 1,000, bottle reviews out there, and taste is so subjective. I mean, I can tell you what I like, what I don't like. You may like what I don't like, and vice versa. But I think cocktails we can all get behind. So I'm getting way more into the cocktail game. For sure. It's a lot more fun.
Awesome. Well, yeah, definitely check it out. They're very informative and quick videos, but there's a lot that goes into them. So
they're fun.
They are very fun too. So please definitely check that out. And we'll definitely get that linked in the show notes too. Don't forget to check out our stuff too. BMP podcast or Bunk and Pick podcast at gmail.com. If you do, I miss it every time. But
I'm going to call you a bunghole at this point.
Oh boy. Bunk and Pick podcast at gmail.com. If you have any questions, please send them in. If you have any questions for Luke, we can make sure to get them over to him as well. Check out our social medias as well on Instagram and Facebook. Without further ado, let's take it out of here with our favorite saying. We're going to be rolling balls.
See you guys next time.